And now for our feature presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
You're listening to Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. Call in to join the conversation at 646-668-8393.
Welcome to Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. It's the six-man Dean Geronimo in the studio with Mark Lee. We welcome you to yet another exciting episode of our show. And just like that, we are in the middle of the month, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. It's the six-man Dean Geronimo, and as always, I'm in the studio from NJ to NC with my right-hand man, Mark Lee. So, Mark, tell me what's good in your neck of the woods, my brother.
Hey, you know, things have been really busy. We've been just jumping, having all kinds of things going on. Had a meeting to deal with the strategic planning to the Carolina Theater since I'm on their board and have renewed my term. I served one term of 3 years and renewed for another 3 years. So I went to a meeting at the Durham Chamber of Commerce offices way up there on the 14th floor. So I got a real nice view of Durham and downtown Durham. That was my, I think, second meeting, maybe third meeting up in that venue. And every time I go up there, I'm sitting there going like, wow, you can just see all of Durham around you. And it's just a real nice panoramic view that you get of the city from up there and everything. So definitely was a nice day and everything. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. Of course, trying to cope with this heat, because this heat is no joke at all. I mean, the heat has just like been slamming us to 100-degree temperatures and things of that nature. Even if it ain't 100 degrees, it's feeling like 100 degrees. So it's definitely been some crazy weather going on and everything. So we're in the middle of a heat wave here in Durham, North Carolina, and throughout North Carolina. As a matter of fact, I looked in there were heat index advisories in several of our counties. I think we've got like close to 100 counties, and there was heat index advisories in several of them. So folks are trying to cope with that, going out and getting water, things of that nature. And I went to two very important events that I know our listeners will be very interested in. One was actually partially organized by somebody very important to my family and everything. That was Linda Bellins, who is the partner of my dad and everything, but she was one of the organizers of this rally to support the immigrants, particularly those immigrant children, but not just the children, but a lot of immigrants that are definitely being, I would say, just basically tortured by that person that's sitting there in the White House, does not really care about people. We're seeing that on a daily and a regular basis, how much he cares about the world and people that are not in his circle. So that we went to that rally. It was a nice rally. I was really proud of Durham, the way Durham came out, because there was we were estimated somewhere like around 800 people that were out there showing their love for what these people are going through and the changes that they have to go through under this administration, staying there in those camps in these kind of environments that are not pleasant at all. And several young people from here recited some of the, I think, letters and emails that they had got from folks in those communities, as well as we had people that are on the ground doing this kind of work. I know that your area up there in New Jersey and New York was hit by the ice raids over the last couple of days. So they're over there just, rounding up people and putting even more people in this kind of environment. And I, for one, do not think that this is cool at all. And then on Saturday, we had a play going on. There was a gospel-oriented play, a decent turnout, not a great turnout, probably about maybe 60 or so, but the play was definitely a very powerful play. Definitely had some good messages about, definitely trying to change your life and things of that nature, even if you're going down the wrong path. And then on Sunday, it was actually pretty light. We had Christ Central doing the regular events at Haytide, their regular 2 church services. But that evening, in the heat, that's right, if they had told me that we were going to be just strictly in the heat, they might not have seen me. But since they said it was going to be under a roof and under like a patio area, so there might be a little bit of chance of being cool, we went to go check out the Durham Bulls. But most of that time I was in there engaging in conversations with some of the church people, some that I've known and become friends with, some that are new people in terms of friendships and things of that nature. So we were talking about all kinds of stuff, including some of the stuff that we talk about on this show, topics like gentrification, topics like, what's going on in our communities with education and things of that nature. So it was definitely a good conversation, had a good time up there at the game. Now, if you ask me, during the course of the game, probably thousands of pitchers are thrown. We were having so much conversation. There was so much good food up there, sodas and things of that nature, that I was lucky if I saw maybe 20 pitches. And I think I was more engaged in the conversation than in the actual what's going on the field in the game. The Bulls did win the game, so I was glad to be there while they were winning. But if you ask me when they hit a home run, how they hit a home run, or any of that stuff, I couldn't tell you to save my life because we were really engaged in that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what was going on in this area. I do need to give a mention. We did lose a great man here in Durham, North Carolina, and I know that you did post it on our page, but Phil Freelon, the architect, who was one of the principal architects of the History Museum up there in D.C., as well as he's done a lot of construction here in this area and was working on some new projects throughout the country and everything, and was just a very powerful man in that field, but just also just a real rich person to know. I was glad that I can say that he was somebody that I knew personally, and I've always had a great deal of respect for Mr. Freelon, and it was just sad news when I learned this weekend that he had lost his battle with Lou Gehrig's disease. So that was definitely some sad news that we got out of the world of Durham and everything. And I know that there's been some sad people that have also been reflecting on the world of sports today, because I know that you've got some ties and some people that are connected to Virginia, and the great boxer Pernell Whitaker was struck down by a car and everything. And, that's like the third time recently that I've heard of somebody being hit by a car. Like I said, we mentioned musician Reggie Jeffries, who was hit by a car, and the person might have been intoxicated on some substance or another. I learned that one of my coworkers at Measurement, people were speculating that it was one thing, but we have now learned that he was hit by a car in, I believe, the Chapel Hill area, and now we're hearing about this week Pernell Whitaker. So I know the people out there that are doing the driving thing and the car thing, but and I know the pedestrians, because I do a lot of walking too. We all need to be careful, both the pedestrians and the driver, but definitely keep your eyes open. Anytime we hear about these tragedies, it's just a tragic loss for people to go out that way. So definitely, just both the driver as well as the pedestrians, everybody try to be alert so that we don't have too many more of these kinds of incidents.
Yeah, overall record, 40 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 17 knockouts. Most people would consider 2 of those losses BS. The one-sided decision against Felix Trinidad back in the days, and then the 4th round stoppage with Carlos Borquez when he had a broken clavicle. But other than that, man, pound for pound, one of the best defensive fighters in boxing is now going to be with the ancestors. We ring the 10-bell salute for Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. Blessings to his family, and may they find strength in the middle of their loss. Other than, it's been weird this weekend, man. You had the good times and you had the bad. This weekend, I was actually down in Fort Washington, Maryland. My good friend, Chef Hint, had his birthday party down there, steaks and sundresses, man. It was off the chain. Music by DJ Casper and DJ Crazy. Shout out to them. Shout out to his queen, Kimberly, for putting on an outstanding event. The 6th man had an awesome time, man, and then I had to come back to work. But as of Thursday, I'm back in the wind again, and I'll be making it down to Liberia, Costa Rica for a wedding. So it's going to be, a nice little time for me to relax out. I'll be back by next Monday. But, just to kind of relax, not burn up. I hope I don't burn up in the heat, but, just to have a good time and relax a little bit for the summer.
Yep, and, Costa Rica, from what I've heard of people that have visited that place, it is a beautiful country. It's definitely on my dream list of places that I would like to visit at some point or another, because I've even heard of some people that were even considering moving down there, and there may be some friends of mine that have even, if they have not moved, they are in that process. But definitely, it seems like a very wonderful and beautiful country, and it's definitely on my dream list of places to visit. So you beat me to one of my dream list places. I'm sure you'll beat me to others as well, but definitely you'll have to tell me how Costa Rica is, just like I had to learn about Belize, which is also on my dream list. from a couple of friends. One that was just recently down there, and another that took his students down there. My good friend Brett Chambers, he did that for a number of years, and then of course popped down to Eritrea on a teaching kind of thing that he was doing through UNC. Brett was doing his through Central. So definitely there's some places that I would like to visit that I have not visited yet. So glad to know that you'll be making the trip to one of them. Oh, well, I hear bells ringing. I love this. But we got bells ringing.
We got bells ringing. That means we got people waiting. And we're going to bring the first one in right after this message.
The old Renaissance is the new Renaissance, standing on tradition while embracing the spirit of distinction. This is the Harlem Brewing Company. Uniquely crafted beer brewed to deliver a taste, a sound, and a feeling that can only be described in one way, Harlem style. So come and take a trip on the A train with our Harlem Sugar Hill Golden Ale and our Harlem Renaissance Wit Beer, the neighborhood original.
All right, so we going to bring both of them in, or we bringing one at a time? What you want to do, Mark?
Who we got on the line, and I'll decide what we're going to do once you tell me who we got on the line.
You know what? I don't know. See, they just popped up, so I didn't get a chance to hit them on the back end. But let's.
Do we have one from the Durham area or We got one from Durham or California?
You know what? I'm not sure, man. 7188. Welcome to Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. You are now on the line. Who are we talking to, and where you calling from?
Hey, this is Lama Rod, calling from Boston.
Hey, Lama Rod, I'm so glad that you called. I definitely wanted you to join our conversation and everything. Actually, I think we're going to try to bring them both in because I think that this is the kind of conversation that I can engage both of them in and everything as well. Lama Rod, I had the pleasure of meeting. So I'm going to introduce Lama Rod first, and then I'll bring in, I think that other call is probably G. YAMAZAWA, who is a poet that I've known for some time and everything. But Lama Rod has come to Haiti a couple of times because he is definitely involved in the Buddhist faith and everything. One of the few brothers I know. I don't know how many other brothers there are that are in the Buddhist faith and everything. So I was just interested to learn more about how Lama Rod got involved in this. And, you know, we're definitely involved, as Lama Rod has even said it the two times that I've heard him, in some times where, you know, a lot of turmoil is going on in the country and people are having to find inner peace. As a matter of fact, one of my other guests that I'm hoping to call in later on will talk about how she's helping get that inner peace through architecture, through interior designing and things of that nature. But Lama Rod, if you would just tell our audience a little bit about what got you into the faith and how you got into the Buddhist faith, and also if you want to share a little bit about what you thought of Haiti when you came to the center, because I think you've been here at least twice to the area, and Haiti has definitely been a prominent part of your speaking engagements and everything. So if you would just love to share with us a little bit about your road on that faith journey, I would greatly appreciate that. And then, like I said, I know I've got G on the line, and I want to say G's faith may be part of that as well, because I know he's a poet that shares a lot about his Asian background, and I cannot remember what his religious faith is. I know his dad was strictly Japanese and everything. But we'll start off with you, Lama Rod, if you could definitely share a little bit about your journey.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, I grew up in Georgia. I grew up about an hour and a half north of Atlanta. You know, I grew up in the church, and I was, you know, pretty much involved in the church until around the time I went off to, you know, start college. And in college, I started falling away and getting more involved in activism, social justice work, and community service. You know, over those years of college, I just began to notice that I wasn't really interested or involved in Christianity like I used to be when I was younger. And even reflecting more on that, I realized that, you know, Christianity actually didn't align with everything that I believed about the world. It didn't answer the questions that I needed answered and so forth and so on. So, you know, I ended up finishing school. I moved from Georgia up to Boston. And I was doing, you know, community work, nonprofit work full time. And about a year into my time in Boston, I was about 23, I started really struggling with severe depression, clinical severe depression, and was really looking for alternatives, ways to deal with it. And so eventually I met a local healer, and we just started practicing meditation together and started working on a lot of little lifestyle